All right, so I'm planning for this year's backpacking trip, and there people that know me are aware of that, and I always get questions about how my gear has changed and how I pack my pack. And it's funny, I started to pack my pack with all my gear this year, and then I kind of forgotten how I packed my pack because I also changed some things up, which I discovered when I got my pack down. And I went looking for the last video I'd done of how to pack my pack, and it's different from the way I'm doing it now. So I thought it would be fun to make a current video of how I do that. So first I'll take you through the gear, then I'll pack it in the pack. So basically I've got 5 days of food in my, what this is called an sack. It's basically a Kevlar bag, a bear-proof bag. So this is my 5 days of food. I've got my first day's lunch, which I will pack in a hip pocket rather than in the food bag so I can get to it while I'm on the trail. I've got my Platypus Big Zip water bladder, 3 liters, but I typically only put 2 liters into it with my Sawyer mini filter inline drinking system. So I put unfiltered water in the bladder and then I filter as I drink. And that works really well for me, especially in camp, because then I can hang the bag up on a tree limb and it'll gravity feed down through the filter really well, very quickly. Actually, there's a fair amount of volume that comes through if I just squeeze a little mouthpiece into my bottle. I've got this little homemade bottle. Well, it's I forget which drink this was that I got this bottle from, and I measured off 2-quart, what do you call these things?
Increments?
Increments, yeah, there's a different word, but I use this to get the right amount of water in my backpacking meals so they're not too soupy or don't have enough water in them. And I also use mixed drinks. So I've got these little hydration packets that I like, emergency hydration packs. And when I start the trail, I'll already have one of these in here filled up, and I put this on my chest strap so that I can drink from it to stay hydrated and get all the salts and things that I want. This is my cooking kit. So it's got my stove and my boiling bag meal cozy and spoon and my pot and cup and a lighter. And my fuel canister is in the food bag. This is my Helinox Zero chair. It's kind of my luxury item. I love this chair. It's really light, and I always bring it. This is my gear bag. So it's got kind of all of my survival stuff, first aid kit, all kinds of stuff is in here. Battery pack for my cell phone, headlamp, all that stuff. Some of this stuff, though, I keep in my hip pocket. So I've got my little baggie of like a mirror, compass, chapstick, emergency whistle, a lighter, my little Swiss Army knife, and my sunscreen, insect repellent. It's wrapped up in a little plastic or a little paper towel because it leaks when I change altitude, so I don't want that to get all over everything. So it's in a separate bag. And then my bug net. My head bug net that I wear over my hat if the mosquitoes are troublesome. Then I've got my toilet bag, so it's got my spade and wipes and all that stuff in bags to keep that stuff in, because I do pack it all out. I know that's gross, but I don't bury it. And then this is new. This is actually a urinal I've read online. I've never used one of these before, but I hate getting out of my tent, the whole rigmarole of getting out, getting shoes on, getting out, and especially if it's cold. I don't expect it to be cold this year, but I'm gonna try it out, but it's a way just to take care of that business in your tent, so that's what I'll be using this for. This is my new air mattress that I'm using this year. It's the Nemo Tensor insulated, regular size, and then this is the air bag that fills it up. So I've got that. Then I've got my sleeping system. So this is my sleeping quilt, down quilt, my pillow, and my down booties, because my feet tend to get cold. So I wear those and it keeps my feet warm. This is my tent, Big Agnes UL1, and then a Copper Spur UL1. And then this is my clothing and sleeping system, because it's got my base layers that I use when I'm sleeping, and then it's got my rain, I have a rain jacket and pants. I've got my insulated jacket. I've got one change of boxers and a pair of socks, and I wash those pairs alternately in whatever water's available and let them dry, and then use them the next day so I don't get totally rank on the trail. And then I get into my fishing gear. So I've got my fishing vest, which is packed with all of my fishing gear, flies, all of that stuff, my reel, And my fishing rod is a Redington Trout Classic 3-weight fly rod. Breaks down in 4 sections. I have it in this homemade, this is actually a fluorescent light tube protector that I've turned into a lightweight fly rod protector. And I actually don't pack this in my backpack. I use these Velcro straps to strap it to one of my trekking poles. And then I've got my A-liter water shoes, which I've had for a long time. These are really awesome for when I'm, day hiking around and fly, fishing creeks and what have you. I can walk in the water and be protected from rocks and what have you. And then my trekking poles are here. I've just got them down because I don't actually know they're carry items. They don't go in my pack, obviously. And then here's my pack, which is the Ultralight Adventures Own 2. I've got some mileage on this pack now. It's really served me well, and that's what all this gear is going to go into. So I'm going to go ahead and start to pack it now. So the first thing I'm going to put in to the backpack is I'm going to put my air mattress into the very bottom. It's just folded up. I don't roll it. So it's not like kind of a brick that I have to find a spot for, but it just goes on the very bottom of the pack with the airbag on top of it that I use to inflate it. So it sits flat on the bottom of the pack. And, all right, so there's that. So the next thing that goes in is my sleeping system. So that's my quilt, pillow, and down booties. So that goes on top of the quilt. All right, and then let me think here for a second. Okay, so then the next thing that's going to go on top of that is going to be my food. So I get my food bag and I put that into the bag, and I'm packing these things horizontally, so they lay across long ways on top of each other. So quilt folded on the bottom, my sleeping quilt horizontally in its Sea to Summit Dry Sill sack. That's a waterproof sack. My food, again, horizontally across that. So it makes a nice stable stack of gear in the backpack. Then on top of the food bag goes the, now at this point, now this is a change up. I used to put my water bladder horizontally on top of that, but I've stopped doing that. I'm actually using the little water bladder bag that hangs vertically in the backpack. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that now before I pile a bunch of stuff in front. And I'm gonna slip it down in that sack. So there it goes down in front of, down into the sack, and I just give it some room to slip down in there, and then slide past the items that I put in. Probably should have put that in first, honestly. So note to self. Okay, so that's in there now, and I'll just let the hose hang out of it for right now. Then I'm going to put in my gear bag on one side, and it's not quite long enough to go horizontally all the way across, so I put my cook kit on the other side. Put that in. All right, and then I put my clothing system, and my rain gear is at the mouth. So, and the idea here is that since this is at the top and my rain gear is at the top, so if if I'm on the trail and it really starts to come down, it starts to pour, and I don't want to get wet, I can quickly take off the pack, open it up, my clothing's at the top, and the first thing in the front of this bag is my rain jacket and my rain pants. So I can get that on quickly and stay dry. So that goes on top of there. And again, the pack is not waterproof, and I don't use a waterproof liner for the pack, but the things that I really cannot afford to get wet are in the Sea to Summit Dry Sill waterproof packs, which is really cool. So I never have to worry about it. My quilt's never gonna get wet, and my jacket, things like that are never gonna get wet. So now I'm gonna slip my tent into the front pack. And then when I break camp and I don't roll my tent back up into this thing. I just stuff it into this front pocket. And so if there's any dew or anything on the tent, it can breathe and it can dry out. But I just stuff it in there, and then I just pull it out when I make a camp the next time, rather than going to all the trouble to roll it up and get it to fit into this bag. Now I've got so now what I need to do is I like to have my drinking hose over my right shoulder. So there's a little port here in the backpack where I'm going to feed this out of, and it's always kind of a struggle to get it through to the other side. Here it comes. There we go. Okay. And then I make sure that the hose isn't kinked or anything. And this comes across, and I can clip this to my pack here, my shoulder strap. So there's that. Then what I do is I'm gonna cinch this up, and it does shed some water. It's not waterproof, but it will shed some water. And then I'm gonna kind of coil the strap there, and then I'm gonna roll this top down a little, and then my water shoes I'll put right here, and then I've got this. And I use not only for fishing, but I use these for water crossings too. Like if we get to some deep water and I don't want to get my shoes and socks wet, I can take my shoes and socks off and wear my water shoes for that crossing. Okay, and then my water bottle here goes on to these little straps. I just tighten this down. Whoops, doggone it. That guy, and come on, Wagner. There we go. So that's on there. Then my hip. I really like hip pockets. So hip pockets. I'm going to have my gear, and actually I would have maps in here too. And I do have my maps, but they're over in a folder. I'm not going to give them. But they would be folded up and they would go in a pocket. And then my snacks for the trail, my lunch effectively, and I make myself eat all this stuff so that I'm getting the calories I need and I don't lose weight while I'm on the trail. I don't have a lot of weight to spare to begin with, so that's important for me. So that's that. Then, okay, so then these guys go into a side pocket. There's my chair, my toilet bag. And then what I figured out I'm going to do with my, because while this big mouth canteen, you know, it collapses, but this mouth is kind of big. What I figured I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this. I'm going to kind of, I folded it like so, slipping it down through the side straps on the pack, and then I'm slipping this top one up over around the mouth here and cinching that tight, so I can still, I won't do that totally the way I want and spend time tightening it for the purposes of this video. There's that. This guy's always kind of a struggle to get into a side pocket, but he does go. So I fold him up real tight, and usually I've compressed the air to that, so this might be interesting. Let's see if I can get him in there. But he does fit. There he goes. I would be very sad if my fishing gear fell out, because I love fishing while I'm on the trail. Really takes up that pack, but that's very stable. And there we go. Now this guy, like I said, he will strap with these straps to a trekking pole, and I don't even know it's there. It works really, really well. My friend John Robertus turned me on to that little hack. He always brings a bunch of big rubber bands and straps things to his trekking pole. So there's the backpack, fully packed. So now I'm gonna, and I haven't adjusted the straps or anything since I've gotten this down, so let's see what happens here. So there's that. Here's my hip belt. Boom. And yeah, I've got some things to adjust, but basically that's it. There's the pack. the rest on my hips. It's a little tight, so I have to adjust that. But there you go. There's the full pack. And I'm at about, with the food for 5 days and 2 liters of water, which weighs 4.4 pounds, the whole pack fully loaded is about 30 pounds is where I'm at right now. So there you go. There's my my gear setup. Of course, I've got my shoulder strap. I guess I should put that on. There it is. So that's what I'll be packing on this trip. All right. I hope that answers questions. Leave whatever questions you might have in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. And hope you guys all get out on the trail. All right. Bye.